Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Criminal Justice Corner. I'm your host, Dr. Jennifer Matthews. Here at Criminal Justice Corner, we give you the real details surrounding the case, and just in case you find yourself in the same situation, we give you potential actionable advice so you can find your way out of it. Now, today, I always say I have a special guest, but this guest is backed by popular demand. I get so many requests from my dad, Eugene Matthews, to come back to the show because everybody thinks he's a hoot. I can't disagree with that. But what's really exciting about today's episode is that we are going to discuss somebody I haven't discussed yet. I think she gets a lot of press, and I didn't want to contribute to that. But today, Eugene wanted to set the record straight. So we're going to talk about the person that everybody loves to hate, Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard. We all know the name. I don't even have to go into who she is. I don't even have to say what town she's the mayor of. Everybody knows Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Eugene, why are we here? What are we talking about today?
I would like to set the record straight. Everybody seems to on social media talking about what's taking so long for them to arrest her, put in jail, all the residents, put in jail, other people, oh, she the greatest, she the greatest. And one thing that really has irritated me is some people are saying it's political since she's a so-called Democrat. Democrats don't want to charge her with anything or they're dragging her feet. And I really want to set the record straight because that is not how things go in prosecuting somebody or chasing somebody.
How does it go? Tell us because we don't know. How does it go?
Well, the feds took the first step. They vamped on her office. They vamped on her office months ago. And they vamped on their office and took away lots of records. You got to ask for records. You got to ask them to give you records. Of course, they're only going to give you the stuff that helps their case. They're not going to give you everything. So then they had to raid the place and take everything they want. And of course, they took some extra stuff. But there's stuff, by raiding, you got that you should have got the first time, but you didn't get. So then, next thing you know, people are going to the governor. Governor, why don't you get involved?
They did.
Excuse me?
They did.
Yeah, why don't you get involved? And the governor like, hold it. The feds is on this. Lori Lightfoot is, doing a outside investigation, we'll call it. Why would the state get in the way? And he is right. And, I'm not saying he's the greatest person in the world, but even though, he's the governor, he's right. Because the first thing people would say if he got involved is, oh, you a white man attacking a black mayor in a black community. You wouldn't do it if she was white. You wouldn't do it to the white people. So he is 100% correct to say the feds are checking on her. So I'm going to stand down. First of all, and he's 100% right, because let's say he said, yeah, I'm going to get involved too. I'm going to have the state police public integrity unit investigate. I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to go to feds and say, hey, when you get through with that piece of paper, give it to me. Yeah. When you get through with that report, give it to me so we can look at it too. I mean, that's going to slow things down. So people are like, well, they're not doing nothing. And this is taking a long time. Hold it. People need to slow down. When you are investigating somebody, you can't have microwave justice. And that's everybody is here talking about, oh, what's taking so long? Hold on. You see that the king of all crooks, Donnie Trump, it took some years before he ended up in front of a judge. It takes time. Tiffany is not going to say, yeah, I did it. You got me. She's just not going to say it. You can tell that from her demeanor. Even though some of the crimes she did are so beeping stupid. I mean, I don't even see how she got this far. How do you have a no bid, no contract with construction companies? Hold it. No contract, no bid. Just do the work on people's houses. What?
Like, how does that even happen?
I don't even see. I mean, that is so crooked. We're not gonna segue away to that because that's a whole different show by itself. That is such a classic con.
I'll bring you back.
But yes, because my goodness, that's just so crooked. I'm not even go there right now. The point is, people have to realize you have to go through the evidence, and yes, they giving you some stuff. Then you have to chase and get other stuff. People if they're paying attention, they notice that Lori Lightfoot was able to get stuff that Tiffany didn't give her.
Or the
She had to,
trustees. The trustee,
yeah,
she didn't. The trustees didn't even have privy to it.
and I support the board of trustees. They're trying their best. I might even give them a donation. I'll be honest about it because they pushing a rock up a hill. They really are, and in some ways they're in over their skis. But that's another story for another show. Also,
Oh, that's 3 shows now we got to follow up on. This show and 2 more. Okay, got it. Go ahead.
but you have to gather your evidence. You have to see what the paperwork she has shows you. And let's say at this point they have most of their documents. Now they have to look in the law and see exactly what laws were broken. Now, you have to pause right now and realize that the U.S. Supreme Court made it easier in the last 2 years for public officials to be crooks. While people were not looking, people have not been paying attention. You're so busy looking at the presidential election and looking at Tiffany, you are not looking at the fact that the U.S. Supreme Court has made it easier to be a crook if you are in office. They just have made it easy.
How did they do
They
that?
made it so that if you bribe the mayor after she delivers whatever it is she's got to deliver, that's not a bribe. But if you give Tiffany $1,000 and then Tiffany says, okay, you gave me $1,000, so I'm gonna do what you told me to do, that is a crime. But if the same scenario happens and they say, Tiffany, you do that, I'm gonna give you $1,000, then she do it, and then after it's done they send her a thank you note with $1,000 in it. That is not a crime.
How did that happen?
Because we as a people are so beeping stupid that we don't realize that they have changed the rules for politicians. Why? Because the politicians are the ones that steal the money, so they have to make sure less and less of them go to jail. So Tiffany is not nearly intelligent enough to take advantage of this because she is basically a very uneducated lady. But if she had been paying attention and she worked her con the right way, she'd be home free. But the Fed has to look now, and that's also going to slow down the case because now the Fed has to make sure that what she did is still a crime because the Supreme Court made some things based on the timeline. Things they used to could hit you with, they can't hit you with them no more. They have to say, well, no, she gets away with that. And one of them is going to be that no bid, no contract work, because that's a big scam. Anyway, so they have to get their evidence together. And you hear on the internet, they're Democrats and they're sticking together. They're Democrats. It has nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans. Tiffany is not a Democrat. She's not a Republican. She's a crook. Okay, the only thing she is honest to is being a crook. That is the only thing she's honest to. So she's a Democrat. Give me a break. She's in the black community, so you have to say you're a Democrat. She is not I'm a Democrat and and the other Democrats, it has nothing to do with that. Once she goes to jail, she's going to be disowned no matter what party she claims to be from. But it takes time to put a case together. She's not going to say, yes, I did it. The people they're going to talk to are not going to say, yes, I did it. They have to get banking records. They have to get banking records. They have to get banking records from her. They have to get from anybody and everybody they think got some money or is part of this. And that's time consuming to chase that down. I don't know how many
following money is it takes forever.
It takes time. You will get your answers, but it takes time. And I think that's really where she's going to end up in trouble because obviously the people she's helped deposited that money somewhere.
Yes, and they're going to track down that money just like what you're saying. Now, with you saying, everybody's on the internet is looking for why hasn't she been arrested? What's going on? This kind of things, this microwave justice. Where does that come from?
Well, people want to say, Democrats are all crooks. And since I'm a Republican, we're not all crooks, and then Democrats say Republicans are crooks, and since I'm a Democrat, we're not crooks. That's where it's coming from because people have an agenda. And one thing we have to realize is if they took her records, and we know they did, They are investigating her. They're trying to figure out what crime she actually did and what crimes they can't either prove or which are not technically crimes with the Supreme Court's current ruling. Now, one thing that's very important is she has a criminal defense attorney
Yeah,
by her side now.
she does.
She got a criminal defense attorney, so the feds may have given her attorney a reason to realize we're not prepared to talk to you at this time, but your client will be hearing from us.
Okay.
Which is all they have to say when they say she will be hearing from us. That lets everyone know in the legal world, stay tuned. There's something going to come out of this.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
and with so much money, Lori Lightfoot showed money is they're in a big deficit.
Yes.
And they show there are checks that haven't been paid and they're holding on to checks. And we're talking about a lot of money. It's a small community. We're talking about a lot of money. Also, she had the tree trimming issue where they're paying like $100,000 a month for tree trimming or more. Hold it.
How many trees they got?
How many trees? I mean, a poor community, and let's say they had a storm, and let's say a lot of trees fell. Let's just say that for the sake of this discussion, $100,000, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but $100,000. How much of that did the tree people get, and how much of it was stolen or redirected to the benefactor? And we know who the benefactor is.
That would be the Super
Tiffany,
Mayor.
the Super Mayor. So she's the benefactor. And that's another, see, now you have to track the money from the village to who got the payments in that $100,000. So if this tree company took and did the work and told the town you owe us $25,000. Let's just say this one company says $25,000. Now the Fed has to see when did they get the $25,000 and what did they do with the $25,000? Did they deposit it in the bank? Okay, it looks like they deposited it in the bank. This is when you're following the money. This is the easiest way to catch a crook. Follow the money. Now, when they put the 25,000 in their bank, did it stay there or did they keep 20,000 and send 1,000 to somebody else, either one somebody or multiple somebody else's? Because maybe, and this is only speculation because I haven't seen the records, maybe she paid them 25,000 and they have to send her back $5,000.
Okay.
Or any appropriate amount. And at this point, we have to realize one of her advisors or a few previous village manager was the Cook County, the retired Cook County clerk, Dorothy Brown.
Now that I didn't know.
Dorothy Brown was the village administrator for a short period of time. And Tiffany told him it's going to just be temporary. It's just going to be temporary. The point is, Dorothy Brown had federal involvement. Dorothy Brown Dorothy Brown had the feds at her doorstep.
Yes,
so
did.
Now, yes, she did. So her advisor or her former village manager had the feds on her butt. Another one of her advisors is former Alderman Carrie Austin, City of Chicago mayor, who, wait for it, had contractors who did work on her house. Remember, Tiffany and the no bid, no contract workers, the no bid, no contract business she gave to, a contractor for some Dalton homes. So here we go. Her main benefactors have been involved in scandals, and they have scandals very similar to the scandal she is running away from right now.
So are you saying that they told her what to do? What are you saying?
I'm saying allegedly because we don't, want to get sued just because she's suing everybody. Because if you say something bad about her, she's sued. But she can sue me because all she'll get out of me is practice. Anyway.
Okay.
Definitely, you got Carrie Austin, who is a crook. You got Dorothy Brown, who they thought was a crook. They chased her. They charged some people who she did business with who They say in her office was pay to play, meaning if you paid her, you got certain benefits. Now, one or
Yeah.
two of her employees ended up pleading guilty and made a deal with the feds, served some time, or, so that's an accurate thing for Dorothy Brown's employees got caught up. Now, they obviously didn't have the smoking gun on Dorothy Brown
Right.
because her people got caught, but she walked away scot free
Right.
in the sense that she left office before what's the thing they say? She jumped before they pushed her. You know
Right.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. She did. She did. Mm-hmm.
She said, "I'm out."
She saw
So
the writing on
now
the wall, is what you're saying.
she saw the right now, which brings us back to Tiffany, because one thing about Tiffany, now she's talking about going for re-election.
Sure is. And that was shocking to me. She is going for reelection. Why would she go for reelection is my question. And I know you know the answer to that. Why would she do that?
Well, I just feel like she's on some level, she's an idiot on some level, because you already are losing money in Dalton. Now,
Yeah.
let's go back to when Lori Lightfoot said they were hurting for money. 3 million, 5 million. There's money missing.
Yes,
Millions.
money.
Okay.
Per Lori
Tiffany,
Light.
per Lori Lightfoot, allegedly. Let's go with
Okay.
allegedly again.
We're gonna
That's
do
what
that.
she said. It's
Okay.
missing. Because
It's
that was a
missing.
great video. But anyway, the point is, okay, the money's missing. Tiffany said, I'm going to have a meeting and show you where the money is. We got a surplus. I'm going to show you. How long have we been waiting for her to have that meeting where she's going to show us where the money is?
Yeah.
She said, they got money. Okay, where is it? Where
Yeah.
is it?
Where is we're
So
still waiting.
we're still waiting. And everything, you got to give her credit though. And in this question, she takes a lot of what is the word I want to use? A lot of hints from Trump, because she says, "I'm gonna, and in the future, I'm gonna show you proof." And Rudy Giuliani, "I'm gonna show you proof." And Tiffany, "I'm gonna show you proof." Where's the proof?
We ain't
Where's the
seen it yet.
proof?
We haven't
Where's the
seen it
proof?
yet.
I mean, here she is running for reelection, and
Reelection.
one thing the trustees have to answer for ultimately is who thinks it's intelligent for your mayor to take tax money from the citizens and take a portion of the tax money, no matter how much it is, a lot or a little, and buy prizes to give it away to a few hundred people at a bingo parlor. You taking my tax money to buy prizes to give people at a bingo game? Who in the world thinks that's the
A good
America we live in?
idea.
We're going to
Yeah.
take the tax money, and we citizens, let's say there's 20,000 of us in Dalton, we're going to
Mm-hmm.
take, let's say, $1 each from each person, just as a number for this discussion, $20,000, and we're going to buy $20,000 worth of Amazon products to use as prizes. And
That sounds sketchy.
you think that is cool, and I don't understand. And she's all big bingo, big bingo. Y'all need to come down to big bingo. Hold it. I need to come down to big bingo where you are taking taxpayer dollars
Taxpayer
and
dollars.
buying presents or gifts or prizes for a small number of people that are in your bingo parlor. That's what my tax money is doing. I mean, the fact that this has been allowed by the trustees, all the people, whatever you want to call them, is unbelievable. Who thinks that's cool? But everything she does is, I'm going to take the money and I'm going to put it out as prizes. The question is, which is where the feds come in. They have to find out what was bought with the money in Amazon,
It down.
who got the prizes,
Mm-hmm.
what the prizes were. Because let's be honest, at this point, with the feds looking, I'm sure they're going to find out prizes went to her boyfriend, her previous boyfriend, her new boyfriend, the chief of police, or these other people. I mean,
Right.
it's going to be a circle of people. I put it this way: the list of winners of big stuff will be all friends and family. That's the point. And they have to chase this down. That is why it's going to take it will take some amount of time to chase it down, because according to a few of the meetings, they said they didn't have to turn in receipts when they spent money on Amazon in that village. So they don't even know who has the item.
Exactly.
And how do you run a municipality when
Without
you let
receipts.
it without receipts.
How do you do
And
that?
without knowing who received this. Where is this? Who was it given to? Do
Right.
you have their signature? Do we have a picture of it? Is it still there? Where is it?
Can we
And
prove
this
that
is
that
the
person received it?
exactly. And this is the kind of thing that slows down an investigation. And that's the
Yeah.
whole point of this conversation. The reason it's slowed down is because A, they have to be very careful. They have to prove everything. And in a good investigation, you don't call in the crook, in this case, allegedly, Tiffany. You don't call in the crook till you have all of the answers.
Right.
You always make sure you know everything. That way, when you talk to them, you're just waiting on them to lie to you.
Right.
That's
And
all you're
reporting that
doing.
so you could use that against them in a court of law.
Exactly, exactly. And they can get this attorney, that attorney, they can get anybody they want. Unfortunately for Tiffany, Johnny Cochran is dead. So she is in a world of hurt because he is the only one that can help her because she is going big time to jail. She's going to be on the express train to jail because when you put up the money she has spent, no matter how careful she is, and I don't think she's that careful because she's really, really, really on the idiot level as far as intelligence. And if you don't think that, listen to her talk and listen the way she talks over people and the way she's got to have the last word. And it's usually a very stupid word, yeah. You a liar, which, how can you call anybody a liar with the story she tells? I'm gonna give you proof. I'm gonna give you proof. We're still waiting on proof now. So that's the reason people need to stop saying Democrats are sticking together for Tiffany. That's not the story. When you're chasing a criminal, you have to get all your ducks in a row. There's no such thing as microwave justice. Everybody wants her to go to jail right now. The township wants to go to jail right now. For a second, go back to when they tried to kick her out of office.
Didn't work.
They wanted to have a
Didn't work.
microwave. Yes, they wanted to have a microwave judge kick her out. No, you have to do it correctly. And they did it in one election. Okay, can we recall her? Are we going to recall all in the same election? And the judge said, that is not how this is done, black people. That is not how this is done.
You got to
You
do it
have
the
to
right
have
way.
one election that says we can recall her. After that's done and you get the results, then you have to have a totally different election and say you kick out. If they had done that the proper way, she would be out. And she says she got off on a technicalities. Yeah, technically they did it wrong because they
Right.
definitely had the votes, but you have to follow the procedure. We're talking about the law here. And she is going to have probably that gentleman that hangs around her, that criminal defense attorney. I don't know how good he is. Hopefully, for her sake, he's good. But he's fighting a losing battle because all of those people, her previous village administrator, Keith Freeman, he is definitely going to say what he has to say to get out from under the trouble he's figuring.
Yeah, he is.
And then the Lacey cat, even Lacey's lawyer said, and the Lacey said, well, clearly he's not guilty of all 9 counts. So he already gave up the whole game right there. Yeah, he's guilty on some, but not all 9.
Right. Yeah.
So he is not trying to piss off the Fed. And when you're dealing with the Fed, I mean, they got good lawyers, they got good information, and they're going to come with more information and they're going to knock her out her seat. She's hoping that the election comes and they're so busy with the presidential election, she'll get a chance to get reelected. That's not going to happen. She will definitely be charged soon, certainly when it's cold outside. And when it's election time, she will be fighting a case. And I don't think they'll put her in jail while they're fighting a case because she ain't no P. Diddy. So she will be out free, able to lie to people even more. But I wonder
Well,
what the village says about somebody who's indicted.
now what I will say is you were saying that the feds got good lawyers and stuff like that. They also got good investigators. I'll definitely say that. And that's why they're being so diligent with the investigation, taking their time, crossing their T's, dotting their I's, making sure that they get everything that they can on her before they talk to her, like you said. Now, considering that this
But let me add
debacle,
one thing. Don't lose your thought. Don't lose your thought. But remember, they chasing black crooks that have already been to jail before.
yeah,
So it ain't gonna be that hard. Anybody that watched The Wire knows in The Wire, the police said, because the corner boys in The Wire had a code. And the police was trying to figure out the code. And eventually one of them said, hold it, hold it, hold it. They went to Baltimore schools. How hard could this code be? Okay. And sure enough, they figured out the code. So they are chasing Dalton crooks. Tiffany has been in jail before. All them other people have been in jail before. Even that new village manager, that sad sack guy, he has been in jail. So they're chasing bad crooks.
The judge didn't let that go down. The judge got rid of him.
Well, it's been stayed until they figure it out. My point is, they all have been to jail before. So they're not basically that smart. They are truly, so far, the gang that can't shoot straight. But go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
My question is, we know all of this debacle every day is like every week, I should say, is something new with the super mayor, something new with the super mayor. If you were a resident of Dolton, you're a resident, what advice can we give those residents today?
Well, register to vote and get ready for the next election to get out of there, because I personally thought she was going to be able to show them where the money was and recover herself. And once she has not done that, I jumped off the ship and said, yeah, she really is a crook. And then recently we see now she can't pay her own rent or mortgage or I guess. Yeah. So
what kind of super mayor rents in the town that they the mayor of? Why doesn't she have a homestead where she's paying taxes, but she's demanding everybody else to pay the taxes when she's saying it's her money? Remember the Nino Brown incident? She said, pay me my money. I want all the residents to pay me my money. Well, guess what? You're not even paying the money.
That landlord, I guess she went to yesterday's meeting, and she wasn't able to serve Tiffany. She has not been able to serve Tiffany. She has to get the special process server. I'm shocked because it's not that much money, first of all, and Tiffany should have a nice bundle hidden away somewhere. I would be shocked if she don't have $500,000 somewhere. I mean,
making $300,000 a year between the two jobs. Why can't she pay this back $3,000? And she got a boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the feds will, let us know what the story is, because where is her money going? And that she can't pay her rent. And I thought that was a make-believe story. I thought that was just the internet story. But when the actual person showed up yesterday, we actually saw this person. And it's sad for this person because she is renting, and now she said they might foreclose her house. And that's one thing people need to realize. You cannot rent something if you don't have backup money for when your low-life tenants don't pay you.
That's a good takeaway right there.
You can't have low light if you got low light. Tiffany lies about everything. It's like renting to Donald Trump. He might pay you. He might not pay you. I mean, he's famous for not paying. And now Tiffany is definitely in that mindset that she's above everything. And luckily, since they are going to court over everything, sometimes she's losing, so she's starting to be knocked down a peg or two. But you can't pay the rent on that house. I mean, it is the most unbelievable thing possible. So and this is a big if the Fed, when the Fed indicts her, if they don't find a bundle of money, she will have to be among the stupidest crooks ever. I mean, ever. Because, hold it, you done bankrupted your town, basically. $3 million of debt, $5 million of bills not paid. Where is what you got out of this? You mean you didn't have that much bingo? Yes, you had a lot of bingo. Big bingo. That's all she say, big bingo. Which now, to save face, she want to give the Thornton Township people a rebate on their taxes. The point is that board is going to have to make sure they have an audit so that when they give the money away, they don't bankrupt for giving all the money back. You have to make sure with Tiffany spending, you have to have an audited accounting of the money, because if she can't pay her rent, and that's my point, hold it, you can't pay your rent and it's only $2,000 or $3,000.
That's it. And you making $300,000 per year. How does that work? And these are facts. This is not even allegedly. This is in court record. This is what we're saying. This is not allegedly anymore. This is what the eviction states. that the landlord is trying to remove her from the residence because she has not paid this 3,000 X amount of dollars.
Previously, I had an occupation where I dealt with a lot of criminals. A lot of criminals. I dealt with thousands of criminals. You say, wow, that was my job. Every once in a while, I won't say every once in a while, frequently, when I talk to them, man to man, man to woman, whatever,
Yeah.
I would say, you need to get out of this business. What you mean? You are not a good crook.
Yeah, because
Get
you keep getting
you
caught.
you need to get a real job because you're not good at it. You keep getting caught. You keep
Caught.
getting caught. Get
Yeah.
out of this business. I mean, and people's like, man, I can't believe you said that. It's the truth. You keep getting. Look at your rap sheet. You done got caught 4 times in the last 6 months. Some people is just not good at this. And for some reason, Tiffany has surrounded herself with people that's not good at crime. And this
She
will be
keeps
proven
finding
out
them.
when, say it again.
She keeps finding them. Like she found one person after the next who got the same background, same rap sheet. She just keeps finding. I'm like, is there a pool or something she's picking from? Does she keep getting the same type of people? How does that even work?
Well, she did go to Cook County Jail. So
So they
based
all
on that,
friends then. Maybe they
you
all
you
went
meet
there.
people. You meet people. You know what I mean?
Obviously.
She was previously written up. They got a picture, so she was in, somebody's jail.
She was.
And you meet people. You meet
Obviously.
people.
She met a lot of people. They all on the payroll. How does that work? You just keep finding these terrible, nefarious people and you surround yourself with them.
So what are the voters going to say? Let me reelect the mayor who spent all of our money,
Yep.
and now she wants another term to do what? To spend more money? Because she's not even talking about cutting stuff back. She's still big bingo, big bingo. If you say big bingo one more time, I mean, give me a break. What is this? She taking everybody's money, giving it to a few, which once they investigate, they'll find out that's a very small pool of her associates, we'll call them, that is probably getting that money.
Now, another thing, how are they going to reelect her if she does not have a residence in Dolton? How will that work?
Well, she'll get a trap house. I mean, she'll get it.
Okay, because this landlord trying to get rid of her from there, so she gonna have to get something, a tent or something. She gonna have to stay in a village in her office or something. I don't know because her landlord don't want her there no more.
Well, she will get a trap house, and I don't think that'll be a problem. Dalton got vacant houses that she could say she live in.
She gonna say
So
she'll squatter then. She'll be a
she
squatter in a
gonna
vacant house. Okay.
she gonna have to be a squatter because she changed the locks on the lady. I guess the lady had an agreement where she could come and check on her garage, and so she said all the locks was changed and stuff. Which if your landlord say I want to come and inspect my place, that if that's allowed in your lease, then you have to live with it. So, but now she's changed everything and won't answer the lady. It's gonna be interesting. And if this lady's house goes into foreclosure because she dealt with a
Super
public
Mayor.
official, it would be a shame. It would be a shame. I hope that works out for her because she seems like an innocent party in this. The problem is people should realize do not rent stuff unless you got backup money to pay. You should have 6 months of rent payments if you are renting something out so that if somebody do stiff you, you can pay while you fight it in court because this lady has missed 2 payments and she's going to miss more because once Tiffany does get the paperwork, some way, somehow she will end up getting the paperwork.
She'll get it.
Then what you can do is go to court.
Yeah.
And the judge is not going to say you're out immediately. They're going to give you 7, 14, 21, maybe even 30 days. So if you're missing 2 or 3 or 4, he's still going to give them 30 days to move out, and that's assuming they
And
don't
with her
settle.
evading, the judge, depending on how busy the courts are, the judge might give her another 30 days to serve her. So guess what? That's a whole nother
Exactly.
month. So
That's a
that's
whole
another
nother.
month before you can even
Yes.
come back to address the issues, not for her to get out.
But this is an interesting thing. This lady is going to get an independent process server, which is great. But you noticed in one of the last meetings, the Thornton Township, I believe, she had some white gentleman served her with papers right
I did
there.
see that. Yes.
So obviously, this landlord should either call that dude's company or find a company that's going to do the same thing. Just go to the
Yeah.
Thornton Town meeting and give her the paperwork then,
Yeah.
because you
But
got to
that's when
serve
she showed,
somebody.
because sometimes she don't even show.
Yeah, yeah, but she was furious when they didn't show yesterday. So she really was like mad. We got to go to court. Yeah, everything now is go to court because the people refuse to just play ball with her because she's robbed so much money and refuses to put things on the agenda item that curtail her spending. So she just don't put them
Exactly.
on the menu. And I can't blame them. I would be chasing her too, and they're doing the right thing. I just think those trustees trusted her too much early on. When
Mm-hmm.
she stopped showing you the bills, you should have stopped approving anything. They should have just had
And that makes sense.
a
Yeah.
showdown. Like, if you're not gonna show us the bills, we're not approving nothing. Nobody gets paid. I would have stopped even the trustees and the mayor's pay. I said, none of us gonna get paid.
Yeah.
I think that's what the community should demand. The trustees and the mayor should not get paid. While this situation, if you're not gonna meet and you're not gonna dependably handle our business, they should suspend their own pay until this is worked out. And I think, in Tiffany's defense, I think she'll settle quick in that case, because it seems like she needs the money bad. But why in the world is she 300,000 in debt? I'm not gonna speculate on what she would be doing on the side with that kind of money, but that's another crime or two or three that she could be participating in, which I think pretty soon we'll all be laughing at the next chapter. So this
Yeah.
is definitely a stay tuned moment.
Definitely. And with that, we're going to end this episode of Criminal Justice Corner. We will definitely be back with follow up because, as I stated, this story continues to unfold week after week, month after month. There's always something new. And definitely, if Tiffany gets arrested, we might even go live. Haven't done that yet, but I'm willing to go live for Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be there. And we have
Everybody,
to.
you'll be at the live?
Yeah, oh yeah, because that would be off the chain.
Yes.
The crazy part of the whole thing is the officers from that municipality would definitely know me. They definitely would know me. They would be like, "What in the beat is he doing here?" So
We have
I've
to
been
go live.
careful
We would have
not
to
to
go
not to go
live.
nowhere over there.
We'd
Yeah,
have to go live. We'd have to go live. So I'm going to ask everybody to like, subscribe, and share. We're available now on a live podcast network. You can definitely go subscribe to us there, and we will see you on the next episode of Criminal Justice Corner. Thank you.
thank you for having me.